Hello, I'm Bruce Harders, and this is Voices in the Village. Today we have with us Jan Marshall, an 11-year veteran of the village and a humorologist, among other things. Jan, thanks for coming by and welcome to Voices in the Village.
Thank you for inviting me. It's a pleasure.
Humorologist. You're a humorologist. What is that?
It's not a proctologist. It's not a gynecologist. It's the study of humor and also being a humorist. That is, you speak humor. You don't tell jokes, but you write about it. That's what a humorist is. I study it and the benefits of healing with humor. I write about it.
So
I live it. Yeah.
That's the combination. Now, that's not your only title. You're a lady of many interests and titles. Talk about some of the other things you do.
I don't want to talk about the stripping, if you don't mind. You know, my grandkids might see it. But I am an author of several books. I'm a newspaper columnist. Sometimes I write for the Globe. I write for a Canadian paper and several others online. What else do I do? Well, I'm a tall, thin blonde.
Well, you're a motivational speaker.
Yes, I am.
And I think you told me you made a ton of money at that in your day.
Like a $250,000 I did as a seminar leader and a speaker. And now I speak. I'm waiting for the dough.
What's the key to being a good motivational speaker, do you think?
Well, I think you walk the talk. And you give information to people that it's useful in their lives, and that's what I do, or did.
Right.
I haven't been doing that recently.
Right.
But all that I've learned and studied, you know, I was founder of the International Humor and Healing Institute, and I had these wonderful people on my board. Norman Cousins, he and I shared techniques, and Steve Allen, John Cleese from John Cleese said to me, you know, I love Steve Allen, I love Norman Cousins, I'm going to be on your board, but you can't make me do anything I don't want to. Mm-hmm. And of course, I never did, and he never did.
Right.
Yeah, so this institute was beneficial to hospitals, to corporations, to everybody, to teach that there are two bottom lines. One is, you know, perhaps making a profit, but the other is enjoying the journey.
Right.
And Norman Cousins and I shared a lot of information and techniques, and you know, he healed himself for many, many years from a dire diagnosis, an illness where he wasn't supposed to survive, but he took all these funny tapes and books to a hotel, stayed there, and he really did very well.
You know, for those of us that don't follow all of these kinds of things, I think most of us heard about Norman Cousins and how he didn't cure himself, but extended his life and his quality of life through humor. And laughing, I guess, was the real key, that he would get in there and get things that he could really do some barrel-type laughing.
That's right, where you get oxygen into the blood, into the stomach, and you feel just wonderful. And people know this. I mean, it's a fact that humor heals and helps.
You know, I read something somewhere the other day that said the real cure for cancer is to get more oxygen in your blood.
Yeah, there's no real cure for anything.
Well, I was saying with the oxygen that he was producing, you know, maybe there's something to that. I don't know.
Well, he extended his life. There's no doubt about it. But also, he believed in hope, and hope is an important thing.
Hope gets into your racket, the humorologist. / hope thing. I mean, that's a big part of helping people along, isn't it?
I think it is. You give them some techniques and information. One of the techniques I use, I mean, just to remind yourself that in between the pain, the sorrow, the grief, the broken nail, all the things, stuff is going to happen in life. Mm-hmm. And pretty much in between all of these incidents, there's humor. There's not a shred of evidence existing that life is serious other than those little incidents.
Right.
Now, when I say little, there's certain things that are not little. I mean, all of us at this stage in our life, what are we, 40, 50? I forget. We've all experienced loss for sure. Pain, sorrow, a lot of illness. We have to attend to that. It needs medical attention, it needs hope, it needs quiet. It also, when you can, finding the humor. Now, I'm not saying always, because grief is a real hard thing to get over. And especially if you've ever lost a child, you'll never get over it.
No.
But you know, like Rose Kennedy said, you kind of get a little scar tissue over the brain to
Right.
let you get through another day.
Exactly. Well, tell us a little bit about your background. I guess you're originally from Brooklyn, is that right?
I'm Scotland, yeah, Brooklyn, New York. I am from there. Yeah.
And so is that where you spent most of your life other than coming out here?
Well, most of it, yes, as a youngster. And then my father was offered a position that turned out not to be a position, but out here. And yeah.
Good. Well, today we have with us your book, Dancin' Schmancin' with the Scars, Finding the Humor No Matter What.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about your book.
Well, it's just, it's the style of writing that I do for all the columns and consulting and everything, just taking real life, not telling jokes, but taking real life and just making it so absurd to the point that it's already funny. We all have irritations with new technology. I as well. You know, I had a PC and an Apple, and there was fighting in my house constantly. I have a new cell phone, kind of new. Siri is my little personal assistant. We don't get along. We're going for marriage counseling. So what I do in the book is talk about everyday hassles and find the silliness about it just so you can get through it. But because I'm also a clinical hypnotherapist, I have tips and techniques on how to get through anything. There are various techniques in the book. And
What's a hypnotherapist?
It's somebody that puts you in a relaxed state so that you can get information in and also release, get new teeth and release negative stuff.
Is this hypnotizing somebody?
That is, it's like that, but it is that in effect. And of course, nobody does anything they don't want to. You just have to be agreeable to it.
Right.
And it's teaching new ways of living and how to get over or reframe what has happened in the past that was a trauma.
Do you believe with hypnotism you can take someone back to their birth?
Oh yes, definitely. Yeah, that's trans hypnosis.
That's a heavy duty thing.
Yeah, I've done that.
To experience. You experienced your birth, so to
Well,
speak?
yeah, you know, most everybody was Cleopatra. I was her housemaid.
Oh, that's another thing.
Yeah.
That's another thing. Well, I guess, you know, the old saying about the shoemaker that doesn't make shoes for his kids. How have you practiced what you've been preaching in your life?
I make shoes for my kids. Well, it's just a way of life. I just see things a little off center that seem to irritate other people. Now, I do get cranky and I do cry and I carry on, but after that, I get to the humor, and that's very helpful. I had cancer and I had a brain tumor, and the doctor said that I had recovered so rapidly because I was found the humor in it. Even, you know, I made jokes about that. When he opened my skull, he found nothing. But
Well, I guess a lot of people call it positive thinking, but really part of that is humor, isn't it?
yes, it is. And it's just enjoyable. It's not giggling and telling stupid jokes all the time.
Right.
But it's just finding the absurdity. As a matter of fact, I would recommend to all the listeners, the millions of people who are going to tune into this, to keep a little record. Make believe that you are a humor columnist.
Right.
And you can't pay your rent unless you get
Right.
paid. And the only way you get paid is to find the absurdity. And if you do that one a day, after a while, humor will come to you, just like a gratitude list, you know.
If you were to give one line of advice, one sentence to somebody, what would that one piece of information or help be?
Well, send money. Oh, this is a different kind of thing. I have an old TV
yeah.
for sale. Well, I think I should always carry something to remind you I have a kazoo on my person most of the time, or a rubber chicken, or a cooked chicken.
So we ought to
anything
carry
that
one of
will-
those along with us.
That would remind you, but mainly what I said, that in between all the stuff,
Right.
not a shred of evidence exists that life is serious, so try to find some humor in your life.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, Jan, thank you so much for coming and to visit with us.
Thank you.
We hope to have you again sometime. And for you out there, thanks for coming by. This has been Voices in the Village, and we look forward to seeing you again in the near future. Bye now.